There are a lot of reports out there that Cad Bane isn't dead. This little blinking light on his chest suggests that he's still alive, that he's somehow communicating with his droid to come pick him up, or it's a life support system that's going to revive him and all this stuff. But let me assure you, Cad Bane is dead. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Gerald, and I'm a Star Wars fanatic, and you can be a Star Wars fanatic too. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button, or you can join the channel as a member, or join my Patreon page. Links are throughout my whole channel. And if you do enter my channel as a member, you are also entering yourself in a chance to win a special edition sideshow figure. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. I do pick one comment to highlight at the end of the next video, just as I'll be doing at the end of this video. So stick around, see who got the top comment from the last video. And with all that said, let's move on with the topic. Okay, like I said at the beginning of the video, Cad Bane is dead. I know this is a shock to some of you, especially when every Star Wars YouTuber out there is saying he's alive. Well, I don't care what they say. Cad Bane is not alive. He is in fact dead. Yes, I'm saying that a lot. Why? Because he's dead. Let me explain. And please hear me out with an open mind. And before you leave comments saying I'm wrong and I'm a small Star Wars YouTuber, look at my other videos. I have about a 90% success rate of my theories and predictions being correct. Why? Because I analyze everything. Too much, probably. And that isn't being arrogant. I've just done my homework, and I don't predict or theorize based on a fan service of characters I'd like to see again just for nostalgia. Now, that isn't saying Cad Bane won't show up again in other projects that take place before the Book of Boba Fett. It's just saying that from this point on, Cad Bane is dead. Anyways, keep all that in mind before you run covering your ears, stomping away, saying that a bigger YouTuber doesn't agree with you, Gerald. Also, keep in mind, I don't care if I'm wrong, and I don't care what other YouTubers say. Meaning, it doesn't change my opinions of Star Wars, nor what I do here if I'm wrong. But guess what? I'm not wrong about this. This isn't a theory. It's just plain fact. Cad Bane is dead. I should have made this a drinking game. Drink every time I say Cad Bane is dead. That would be fun.
Good evening, I'm Brad Hall. Our top story tonight, buckwheat is dead.
Okay, you want my reasoning and not a bunch of silly jokes. How could I be right when so many others are claiming the opposite? Well, let me start by saying Cad Bane is one of my favorite bounty hunters from the Clone Wars era. No one matched his ruthlessness and his success rate. No one enjoyed his live-action appearance more than I did. You can watch my Book of Boba Fett Chapter 5 watch party and see my reaction. But I'm also not into bringing someone back from the dead for fan service, especially when they've had a poetic death that matches their character and the character of the victor. So in essence, I don't want him coming back. The ones who do want him to come back have crafted the theory that he's still alive to fit their own fan service and narrative. And if he does return, it'll be fan service at the cost of the character's arc and the entire story. But my own feelings about his death are not enough to support my statement that Cad Bane is dead, at the hands, or gaffy stick rather, of Boba Fett. So let's start with Cad Bane's age and the life expectancy of his species, Durosian, or just Duros if you prefer. Their life expectancy is around 75 years old, for the longest living. Now Cad Bane is 72 years old. I've made another video on this fact. It's not an estimate. I'll go ahead and link that video in the description below. So, yeah, Cad Bane is well beyond senior citizen age. The fact that he's still as good as he is a miracle. But is he even still a good bounty hunter at this time? Well, let's go back and look. During the Clone Wars, Cad Bane was seen as the best bounty hunter in the galaxy, following the death of the previous title holder, Jango Fett. Cad Bane's successes far outweighed his ineffectiveness, and he took on the highest paying and highest profile jobs, even breaking into the Jedi archives, stealing a Jedi holocron, and holding members of the Senate hostage in their own building. He was also very successful at kidnapping children. Not that that kind of success should be celebrated, but it's just a measure of his dedication to his profession and his reputation. Cad Bane isn't like other bounty hunters. He isn't an anti-hero. He's a villain. But there was one failure on his part, his duel with Boba Fett near the end of the Clone Wars. This came to us in an unfinished episode of the Clone Wars. Some argue it may not be canon, and that's true, it may not be, but all the signs pointing to it being canon. They just haven't came right out and said it. During this episode, Boba Fett and Cad Bane stand off and have a duel. An Old West-style draw. Both draw their weapons and fire. Boba gets a dent in his helmet and Cad Bane gets a shot to the head. Like I said, no one has confirmed that this is canon yet, but let's look at the proof. The next time we see Cad Bane after this showdown, he has a metal plate in his head, the same place that it was shown that Boba Fett shot him in the unfinished arc of the Clone Wars. The same metal plate can be seen when he falls after his second duel with Boba Fett in the Book of Boba Fett. It seems pretty much confirmed to me. How about you? Fast forward to Darth Sidious Imperial rebranding of the Republic after the events of Order 66. The Kaminoan cloning facility is also under a sort of rebranding, I guess. The Kaminoans are being phased out, as well as their costly clones. In an effort to fight back, Lama Su, the Kaminoan Prime Minister, sends a bounty hunter to kidnap a child. The bounty hunter is Cad Bane. The child is the second perfect DNA match of Jango Fett, Omega. With the plate on his head, Cad Bane is unsuccessful. This is the first time we see him unsuccessful in such a high-paying job. This indicates his head injury may have done more than blemish his beautiful appearance. This is a sign of Cad Bane's decline, possibly. I think it's also fair to mention that Cad Bane was one of Boba Fett's first mentors during the Clone Wars when Boba Fett was around 12 years old. After they parted ways, they became rivals. As another side story, I think it's also fair to note that Cad Bane was not seen during the War of the Bounty Hunters comic series. Yes, that comic series is canon. It was an all-out free-for-all attempt to capture Boba Fett for a bounty that Jabba the Hutt placed on him. Seems Cad Bane would have been all over that, given their past, unless he's getting too old, and his abilities have declined further for him to run all over the galaxy to find a bounty hunter who has surpassed him. No, he needs to wait for Boba to settle in before he goes after him. Remember, the War of the Bounty Hunters was going on just after The Empire Strikes Back and leading up to Return of the Jedi. That's 5 years prior to the Book of Boba Fett. That would make Cad Bane around 67 years old at that time. But it's probably safe to say he wants another shot at Boba Fett for causing his decline. Okay, we've discussed the plate in his head, his rivalry with Boba Fett, and his failures due to a headshot during a duel with the young Boba Fett. You're still asking me why I think he's dead now. The blinking lights on his chest suggest differently. I'm getting to that. And all this information is really important to know why, and get ready to drink, Cad Bane is dead. Fast forward to the timeline of the Book of Boba Fett, which is 5 years past Return of the Jedi and the end of the War of the Bounty Hunters comic series. Cad Bane is now 72 years old, far too old to be traipsing around the galaxy to hunt an old rival. Like I said, if he wants a shot at revenge against Boba Fett, oh, there's that revenge word again that we heard about before the show aired. I'll get back to that though. Cad Bane will have to wait for Boba Fett to re-emerge from the Sarlacc. Remember, everyone thought Boba Fett was dead for 5 years. Well, the opportunity came when the Pikes were having issues with the new daimyo on Tatooine. They needed someone to take the job in killing this troublesome wannabe crime lord. Cad Bane was more than willing when he heard who it was, Boba Fett. This sets up Cad Bane's own return to status and his own revenge arc. Remember, we heard about revenge before the show aired. We all assumed it was about Boba Fett's revenge, and partially it was his revenge for what happened to his Tusken family, but it's also about Cad Bane's revenge for what has happened to him. He could kill Boba Fett and retire on top, all the while getting his revenge on the one who caused his decline, Boba Fett. On the flip side, this would give Boba Fett the opportunity to prove he is actually the best alive. He already bested Zuckuss, IG-88, Dengar, 4LOM, and Bossk. He now needed to sever his past by killing Cad Bane. Both opponents draw and fire. Boba Fett goes down. Cad Bane removes Boba's helmet and monologues, something that has never been out of Bane's character. He often bragged over his fallen opponents before finishing them. Boba Fett takes the opportunity, draws his gaffy stick, and uses the same maneuver the Tusken warrior used on him. He then plunges the pointed tip of the gaffy stick into Cad Bane's chest. But wait, there's a light that begins blinking. At the same moment, Cad Bane takes his last breath. And this is the only reason some have cited as why Cad Bane could still be alive. Not the poetic nature of his death, the ending of a lifelong rivalry, an aging and declining bounty hunter, nor a failed attempt at revenge to the one who got him where he is. No, a blinking light is his savior. The same kind of an indicator that our own patients get when they pass over from the world of the living to the eternal plane of existence. The blinking light was an indicator that he was dead, nothing more, and no life could be detected. Still not enough for you? You still want the fan service to bring him back? Well, let's simplify the whole thing then. Why was no one at all concerned that Cad Bane's body was missing while they were cleaning up all around him and disposing of other bodies? How could he have got up and left or been carried away without anyone seeing it? The entirety of Mos Espa was there for the cleanup after the war. Not to mention, he didn't win the duel and will never get another chance from a nursing home. So, I say again, Cad Bane is dead. His death was poetic, and it had reason and a deep meaning. To bring him back would diminish his entire story and the character growth that is to come of Boba Fett, for the sake of fan service, because some just don't want him dead. They feel like he needs more live action. I'm sorry, he was an animated character. The fact that we got him at all in live action is amazing. Rest in peace, Cad Bane. You'll be missed and remembered. But what do you think? Do you still think he survived? Let me know in the comments below. I do read all comments, and I'll pick the best one to highlight at the end of my next video. And at this time, I'll go ahead and highlight the last comment. The comment comes from Cleon of Sparta, and Cleon had this to say about Cad Bane's death. The alternative to Cad Bane dying in this series would likely be him dying of old age. Maybe some fans want that, but it doesn't seem very fitting. Cad Bane fans still get to feel good about him drawing faster, even though he died. I see it as a win for both Boba Fett and Cad Bane fans. Absolutely right, Cleon. Thank you for that. That's exactly what I was thinking when I made that last video. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who commented. Keep the comments coming. They are noticed, and I do appreciate how civil everybody has been. This is Gerald from Star Wars Fanatic signing off until next time, wishing you all great health and happiness. Thank you for watching, and remember, this is the way, the only way.